Well, we want to turn to another very tough situation, and that is the situation for farmers in the United States who are being hit very hard by the various tariff policies and other things that are happening, but are also continuing to organize and to push back and fight for our rural areas. And we are very, very honored to be joined as we continue this conversation by John Boyd, who is the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. Mr. Boyd, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for reaching out and making this happen. So I appreciate it.
No, we really appreciate you. And I want to just start here. I mean, we are in the first half of this year had the most farm bankruptcies of any time since 2021. Obviously, a very tough time for farmers. President Trump is saying that his policies are going to embolden farmers or help them grow and prosper. But it seems like the opposite is the case. What's been the impact of the tariffs on farmers, as you have seen, especially family farmers?
The worst I've seen since the 80s. And this has been going back a very, very long time. The president came in during his first administration and imposed tariffs on China. At that time, I was selling soybeans for $16.80 a bushel. The price immediately plummeted all the way down to $7 a bushel, and the market really never came back. So he gets elected again, and this time he starts doing the same stuff with Canada and Mexico. You know, Canada does fertilizer, and Mexico is the number one purchaser of U.S. grown corn. And then China, the number one purchaser for U.S. grown soybeans. These are major markets and things that we need as farmers to survive. And this president went right after it. The only thing left in this country that we do better than anybody is still produce corn, wheat, and soybeans in abundance than any other portion of the world. And I stand on that. We can still do that. The president used that and gambled the futures of the very population that elected him out here in these red states. And you don't have to take my word for it. Right through rural America, and they still got his signs up on their farm, man. You know, farmers for Trump, these paste boards. And he took that support and said, you know what, I really don't care. I'm going to push forward with my policies and my politics. And the first people that he punched in the face are farmers in this country. So the tariffs have been a drastic effect. I don't see it coming back, the markets coming back. And people need to understand this. And I've read a lot of the comments on these blogs. The right on farmers just raise the price. Farmers are price takers, not price givers. So I have to sell my commodity in abundance, corn, wheat, and soybean, for whatever the market price is. And today it's hovering somewhere around $9 a bushel, and for soybeans, and $5 wheat and $4 corn. These are some of the very prices. If you look at the cost input, is what I was doing in the 80s. I mean, really bad prices. And the president is at the impetus of this. It's not Mother Nature, like you hear some of these people say. God didn't have nothing to do with this. The president imposed the tariffs, and the president put the farmers in the position that we're in with no market. China hasn't ordered any soybeans. I want to be frank here on your show here. There isn't any orders from China to purchase soybeans, and this president hasn't opened up any new markets. So you have the ag secretary, and the president says, "Oh, well, farmers going to get some monies from the tariffs." Man, we're not getting any money from the tariffs. Many of those have already been challenged in federal court, and some judges have issued some rulings against Trump on his tariffs. So that's going to be tit for tat back in federal court. And my daddy had a little simple saying, you know why the grass are growing, the cows are starving. You know, they can see the tender green grass, but they can't get to it from all this nonsense and stuff that's in the way. That's what this administration has done to America's farmers. And the president keeps talking about is going to be a bailout and all of these things. A bailout for blacks in this country, black farmers, isn't a good effect. Anytime you put paperwork, and I hate to quote my daddy again, but he said black black people and a black man and government don't belong in the same sentence together, John. It'll never go in the same sentence and belong and read smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know,
you,
I'm glad you said that. And then listen, I'm happy for you to quote your father as much as possible. That's good down home wisdom. And the
I was
point
trained by him, fourth generation farmer, and my grandfather trained me. And before you go into your question, farming is an art and skill set, people, that has to be taught. So when you mention the bankruptcies and foreclosures and suicides, these are generational farmers who are being put out of business and not passing on a generational skill set to the younger generation. So you're taking out all of that history and training out of the food population is what's really happening. But I'm gonna stop and take your question there.
No. I think that's actually a critically important point, and it speaks to it because the point you were making about black farmers, I mean, this has been another subtext of the Trump administration. The attack on, quote unquote DEI has also included attacks on the USDA programs designed to have more equity. And so we're already seeing a situation where I think I read in 2023, only 0.5% of farmers got more than $125,000 worth of aid. And I would assume even those people are overwhelmingly white and that black farmers are being shortchanged. So talk about that if you could, because of course we've had the Pigford decisions and others, but it seems like under Brooke Rollins, the USDA is also heavily attacking programs designed to ensure equity and make it easier for black farmers to pass on to their children and their grandchildren their land and their skills.
Well, I tell you, this president came right into office and done away with 40 years of work that I spent on bills that I had to lobby to get passed in Congress for programs to help black and other farmers of color. And you mentioned DEI. Every 10 years, man, they make me change our name. Socially disadvantaged farmer John to go across better in Congress. John saved farmers of color, and you'll get more traction in color in Congress. Minority farmers. Every 10 years, man, I got to change our name, but the results have been the same. And when Democrats are in control, they need to be more aggressive at going after the policies and the populations that support them. Every time they say, hey, board, you got to go to congressman and get some Republican support in order for us to get behind this and make it a White House initiative. It should never be that way. When they're in charge, they need to go after it the same way that Trump shoving this stuff down our throat. They should be doing the same thing when they're in charge. But the administration came in and done away with anything that they can put us in this category box, DEI. And that's a new name for black farmers now, DEI. It was farmers of color and all of these things. They keep changing the name. I said you can call me a black man, you can call me a black farmer, or you can both call me American farmer. I didn't give anybody authorization to rename me DEI and put me in these boxes and tell me what's acceptable to me as far as mistreatment. The only person that could tell me what doesn't feel good and what doesn't goes right from in a discriminatory manner is me and you and everybody else. I can't go to you and tell you, man, what's discriminatory and what should be done. This administration came in and fired anyone with a quote unquote equity title at USDA. They were gone day one, man. They came in and froze our monies at USDA from day one. And guess what? The foundations out here for me, I'm gonna say this and I may get in a little trouble, get an F minus. Instead of the foundations picking up and say, hey, board, and we know the farmers, your population is struggling. We have 160,000 members. I know you guys are hurting. The foundation would like to support your program by doing this while you guys figure out what's going on with the federal government. The foundations ran away, corporate America ran away and bowed down and kissed Trump's ass. They kissed it and said, "To hell with these farmers, man." And I'm getting emotional and upset because when you're down, man, you don't stay down. You get back up and fight. Came in and kicked everybody over, and I'm saying the country has to get back and push back and fight back. Democratic Party has to fight back. Okay, so he done away with it. So what are we going to do to survive the next 4 years of Trump? Is my message to corporate America and foundations. The government has already said in this administration, this president has clearly said, we don't want you if you're black.
Mm.
We don't want you to be a part of the federal policies if you're black. We don't want you to be a part of federal government. Matter of fact, we don't want you to even be organized if if you're black in this country. If you're an immigrant, we don't want you. They came in and done away with immigration in this country. The very population that are picking the onions and cucumbers and oranges off the tree and working in the tobacco and cotton fields, doing work that many Americans don't want to do anymore. Okay, so they ran blacks out of there. So we ain't gonna pay you after Jim Crow. You guys actually want to get paid? We don't want to do with this population. So they've done away with blacks. All right, they stole everything from Indians, and now they're saying the very population, because you're not 100% Republican, all you people got to get out of here. The biggest mistake this president has made is kicking farm workers out of this country, and the very people that's going to pay the price are the American people, the American consumers that go into the supermarkets and got to pay through the Waiudo to get beef and fresh fruits and vegetables in this country. This president gets an F minus from me on agriculture in this country. He's taking us down a path that's going to take decades to come back from. When you cause this much devastation and harm in 10 months, as this president did, agriculture is not coming back because they pay a measly bailout that's going to be a Band-Aid when we need major surgery out here.
No, I think that's a great point. I'm glad you brought up the point about immigration. Even the Trump Labor Department just issued a report saying that because of their immigration policies, there's a risk of supply shock-induced food shortages. So it shows how bad it is. And if you want to speak more to that, that's fine. But the other question I want to ask you too as well is, the point you made at the very beginning that he's not opening up new markets. American farmers are losing markets. How do you feel as a soybean farmer to see that Trump is giving $20 billion to Argentina to support the peso to expand their soybean sales at the expense of people like yourself?
Well, and that was my next bullet point I was going to. This president bailed out his friend, the Argentine president, for $20 billion, man. $20 billion with the B. And now he's saying, we may or may not do a bailout for American farmers for $10 billion. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He said he was going to make the announcement this past Tuesday. Didn't happen. We didn't get it. But $20 billion. And this president said all through his campaign, I'm the best deal maker. This is what I do, people. You elect me president, I make the best deals for the American people. This $20 billion isn't putting America first. Isn't a good business deal. As a matter of fact, if he was on the streets, man, we would say, man, you got took. The president got took. He got beat at his own game, and this guy beat him at his own game. He took his money, took his $20 billion, and then he took his market. He took his market and started selling to his competitor, China, who hold arms, saw this coming and say, you know what? Yeah, we're just going to buy some soybeans from Argentina and Brazil and these other places, and we're not going to buy from the United States. So the president got played. I don't know what this president from Argentina promised him, but it had to be something, man, for $20 billion. He's doing this without the authorization of Congress. He's using the American taxpayer dollars like it's his own personal piggy bank and said, you know what, but I'm going to do a side deal with Argentina and I'm going to go ahead and do it and I'm going to announce it and put my John Henry here. I've never seen executive orders with that contain $20 billion. I don't know about you guys. And I've been out here 42 years. I've never seen anything like that. Matter of fact, I've been here 42 years and I've never seen anything like this president. What he's doing in this country. He's totally divided this country. He's opened a population of hate that people who thought about being hateful wouldn't do years ago. Now it's open season. If we don't like black people, we're saying it. We don't like Hispanics, we're just saying it. And there's no curtail or no backlash. Who do these people turn to now? The FBI. They got police on the street. Man, these are things that I never thought I would see. But you know what? And I'm gonna quote my dad again. He said he went 7 years without missing a day from work. I said, Dad, you need to take some time off, man, and just relax. He said, no, I can't, son, because the bad days are coming. This is what he said his daddy told him. The bad weeks are coming, the bad months are coming, and even a few bad years are coming, John, and I want to be prepared. All those things are here right now for the American people and for lower income people in this country. The bad weeks, months, and years are here, and we're going to have to reorganize and regroup and come together in this country to rise up over this nonsense that this president is putting in place, which is clearly one population rule, which is a white man in this country. He don't like women. From based on what I've seen, he doesn't. You know, he's making voting harder for women. Something about their name changes. They're doing any and everything, and they're throwing it all up on the windshield so fast that America didn't know what in the world was going on. He makes an announcement today, and then tomorrow he says something that's even more devastating than he did yesterday, and America can't seem to catch up with what he's doing.
Well, the good news in all of this is we got a good place to regroup. The 35th National Black Farmers Association Conference, yes, October 31st and November 1st in the Marriott in Birmingham. Going to be fantastic. Everyone should attend. blackfarmer.org. You can find out more. Mr. John Boyd, the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association, thank you so much for joining us here on the Freedom Side.
Well, support America's farmers and support Black farmers. Go out to blackfarmers.org and make a donation and support us. We're going to make it. We're going to make it through this pinch, people. I love you.
Right on.